we're just going to talk about Queen and King of the Ring scenarios here. So we are, as of this recording, we still have matches on Raw to discuss, but let's look at the women's bracket first. So we have Roxanne Perez and Jade Cargill on one side of the bracket. We have Alexa Bliss, who won instead of Charlotte Flair, which I thought was pretty interesting, in their four-way on SmackDown. And then Asuka, Stephanie Vaquer, Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile. It's either going to be Vaquer or Asuka who comes out of that bracket. So who do you think is the finals of this thing, and who do you think wins it?
Well, I think it's got to be a babyface that wins it, because we have a heel champion and we also have a heel with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which is also the case with the men. I think it's Jade is going to win, and then it's just a case of who she beats in the finals. And I would bet it's probably going to be Asuka, but it could be Stephanie. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be Bliss. I think Charlotte's going to end up costing her that match, because they seem to be feuding. And I like the idea of Jade, and I would actually have Jade win her title and then Naomi cash in on her.
That's like a logical storyline of how they generally do this thing. Yeah. And then the journey or the chase would be Jade chasing Naomi, maybe even towards WrestleMania or something.
And that's Naomi's reward for like basically just getting punked out this whole feud.
Well, when does Jade start filming that movie that she's doing? Because she's going to be. I don't expect her to have like this giant part where she's gone for 3 months, but she's going to be gone for a little while, a couple weeks probably.
Yeah. I mean, well, that could be between the Queen of the Night of Champions and SummerSlam, because the title match will happen at SummerSlam, so she could be off that whole time. Maybe even just come in and do a promo or something on SmackDown. She doesn't have to wrestle at all after Night of Champions till SummerSlam, so that's like 6 weeks.
I actually wish that they did this slightly differently, in that you get to Jade and then on the opposite side is Roxanne, because I think Roxanne would give her the best match out of everybody, and Roxanne losing is like no big deal. If it's Stephanie Vaquer or Asuka who actually have to take a pinfall, I'm not that it's a big giant deal, but you want Stephanie to be still on top of her game. She's a budding star. Asuka's on her way back as a comeback story. So I would have just flipped the bracket so that Roxanne Perez could be on the other side, and then it was Jade and Roxanne, and you have like this the little woman against the muscular buff woman, and Roxanne is sneaking out like clothespins before she actually succumbs, and then like you said, we get we get the match, and then at SummerSlam Naomi cashes in. I like that story a lot.
Well, I guess we are going to get Jade and Perez.
We'll get that in the semifinals. Yeah, I just wish that was the finals match.
And are they both on the pay-per-view? I think so, right? Like they're doing the semifinals and the finals on the pay-per-view.
That's a good question. I do not know that.
Yeah, so that could be like the main match could be the actual early match, and then the finals could just be quick. So I'm very interested in that Jade and Roxanne match. Like I want to see what Roxanne can get out of her.
I'm actually looking to see if they have any information about that. They do not say when those matches are going to happen. Okay. All right, so let's look at the men's side of this bracket, or the men's bracket. So we have Sami Zayn and Randy Orton in a semifinals match. We have Cody Rhodes, and then out of Sheamus, Rusev, Bronson Reed, and Jey Uso, we will get another competitor there. I'm kind of interested in who they have win that match, and actually who's going to take the pinfall. That's even more interesting, is who loses.
I could make a case for any one of those guys, honestly.
So if it's Jey who just lost the title, then you get Jey and Cody, which is a babyface match. Former partners, homies, like there's some intrigue there. Outside of Jey, I'm not even sure who I'd want to get to Cody as far as the match is concerned, because
whoever it's going to be is probably losing, right?
Yeah, well, he's
So
not even tied up with any of those dudes in stories in any way.
Bronson Reed, you could kind of tie that into this to Seth Rollins. So it could be Bronson, and then you get Cody and Bronson Reed in the quarters. You got Seth wandering around with that briefcase. So yeah, I think, and I know everyone's thinking Rhodes and like Cody and Orton in the finals. I think it's going to be Cody and Sammy in the finals. I
What do
don't know
you
how.
what do you get out of Sammy losing to Cody would be my question.
Well, it's just whetting the fans' appetite for him to eventually get that title shot. I mean, and when you say what do you, I mean, maybe Sammy beats Cody. Like I don't know, but like when this whole thing first started, my initial thought before I knew anybody that was even in it, before I even looked at the brackets, I'm like, oh, Sammy might win this. Like just Sammy at in Saudi Arabia, like that would be a nice story, right? But I mean, when you look at this final, 7 right now, but even those final 3, like you just kind of look at Sammy as like, okay, there's no way he could win this, but I don't know, maybe he can. Like I don't know, like the easy layup seems to be Cody and Randy, right?
Did you
Like
get any feeling of that on SmackDown, considering that was what they did in the opening
to be
segment?
honest, no. But it's just like I've had people messaging me and DMing me and like, do you think Sammy's gonna win this? Do you think Sam? And I'm like, so when people like bring that up to me, it's like, did they see something I didn't, or is this just something they want? You know, because I think like there is a long-term story there of Sammy getting the title.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, which title and when? I think are the two keys. And is it the Cena title? I don't. It doesn't feel like that. So then that means it's the other title. And
Well, I think the winners have to face the champion on their
right,
brand, so it would be
they do. So
Sammy.
it would have to be Gunther,
Yeah,
and he's already beaten
he's already
Gunther.
beat
But
Gunther.
yeah, but then we've also got Goldberg coming up. So I don't know. I'm just, what, I'm gonna go with the obvious, and I'm gonna say Cody beats Randy in the finals. And I know
I
I've been spent the whole time talking about Sammy, but
well, I what I think is that if you're telling this Sammy story in a long-term fashion, which is what they've been doing, Sammy just winning his bracket was kind of like a small part to that story. And then
mhm,
he should get very close to beating Randy Orton, right? Like he
yeah.
should get several near falls, and that will be a really good match at the same time. And then he loses, and then it's whatever the next opportunity. Maybe it's the Royal Rumble where he's like the second to last guy in the match, and then he loses. And so we keep telling the progression of this story, and whenever they want to pay it off, they could pay it off because he's always going to be over. And I keep wondering if they're going to sense a little bit of urgency in him to maybe cheat a little bit here and
Mhm.
there. Kind of, we've seen a little bit of that, and so that also adds intrigue to him. He's so great. He's doing some fantastic work, and whatever they do with him, whenever they decide to pull that trigger, it's going to be great. It's going to be great for however long he's champion. It's going to be that Jey Uso moment that we saw at WrestleMania. It's going to be that version of it for Sammy. So I'm looking forward to it, but I also think they could keep slow playing it. So
I'll go with Reed winning that 4-way and losing to Cody.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I would like to see Jay just because I don't want to see him. I want to see him still
in the
in the
mix.
mix, and he could get screwed by whomever they have him feuding next with, by the way, too, which will be fine. But I would love to see him in the mix still. And then I would go Cody and Orton too. I think it's a little bit of a dream match these days
Mhm.
for a specific fan base, a specific part of WWE's fan base. So I'm with you there. And then Cody and Cena at the pay-per-view at SummerSlam.